Here we go. Welcome back to episode 20 with your host here, Brantt Myhres, on the sober recovery podcast called UnHammered, hashtag UnHammered. And always, the 20 weeks, we ask how many of you have stayed unhammered the last 7 days since we had our last episode. I have. So we're on week 20. And hopefully you guys have as well. Had some cool messages. But if you're driving or walking or running or flying or whatever you're doing, make sure you grab your coffee and your tea, and let's have a little cheers to everybody that's made it through a day, week, month, or year. Congrats, everybody, and cheers. Oh, well, I guess I can taste that a little more than I did last week, you guys. Yeah, the tooth, it's been interesting. I went in the doc. Remember, my mouth was all frozen. And anyways, the last week, I guess, it's been a little sensitive. And my hypochondriac mind goes to different places like I'm dying. And I'm not. I'm all right. But anyways, I was told, well, if it doesn't get better, you gotta yank the fucker. And I'm like, what? Last time I had my tooth yank, I passed out. So, didn't really want to hear that. So I went in today actually, and it looks like from what the doctor said that it's calming down, as they say. So we're gonna give her till Tuesday, everyone, and then if not, it's Yankee Doodle. She's Yankee Doodle. Oh well. But anyways, hey, you guys ready to start out with a nice prayer for the week? And yeah, I'll put these on, everyone. Here we go. All right, so let's start out with a prayer. So prayer for the day. Here we go. I pray that I may see something good in every person, even one I dislike. And that I may let God develop the good in that person. You guys want to chat about that? May see the good in every person, and I may let God take over. Yeah. That's a big one, isn't it? Holy shit. How do you pray for somebody that you sort of despise or that has shit all over you and you don't like? You don't like them. You probably wouldn't say hi to them, if you saw them but maybe when it comes right down to it, I think if you look at yourself and the flaws that you have as a human being and your character flaws, as they say, and we all have them. And I guess we'd all be a hypocrite to think that, we couldn't maybe let God take care of it, pray for them. And I've done that. I've heard that early on in recovery. I've heard, I just pray for him, Brantt. I'm like, fuck you, pray for him. They literally put me through hell. So pray for him. I don't know. Maybe we'll chat about it tomorrow. Did you pray for him? No. Why not? Because I don't want to. Okay, well, the longer that you stop doing this action, Brantt, it's just gonna, you're carrying the heavy baggage. So anyways, I decided to pray for this person. And even though I don't know if I meant it, but I did it. I'm like, you know what, dear God, I'm having a tough time here. And I think I need to pray for this person's well-being. Even though they did me wrong, I'm going to pray for them tonight. And I'll try and do it tomorrow. And I did that for, funny enough, only 7 days, and it started to ease up. It did. It started to ease up, and I started to feel better about the situation. I don't know. Maybe it's just when you decide to do a change in your behavior or your thought process that something changes, and it did. So anyways, I wanted to share this sort of analogy here's the analogy of an addict or an alcoholic. There was this professor at Harvard, and he had a whole bunch of students in his classroom. There was probably 200 kids in his classroom, and he comes out in front of all the students and he says, hey guys, guess what? And everybody's like, what's going on? He's like, well, I developed this pill, and what this pill does is that if you take this one pill, it'll cure your alcoholism and addiction forever. You'll never want to drink. You'll never want to take drugs again. Everybody's like, oh my God, seriously? It's like, no, I've done it. I've created the pill. So anyways, you've got these people sort of stunned in the audience, and all of a sudden, out of 200 people, there was the one addict in the room. And the one addict raises his hand and he says, sir, can I ask you a question? And the professor's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So what if I take more than one of those? And man, did I laugh at that, because that is a perfect description of an addict or an alcoholic. How many of these can I take? Even though one was going to cure me, what if I take 5 of them? And I related to that. What is it? I don't know what the saying is. One is whatever, but yeah, 1,000 is never enough. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I had some questions here. I don't get a lot of hockey questions, and I got one from this person. And here's a question for you. Which was the proudest moment or game you remembered as a player, in particular, that stands out to you? Yeah, there's one that stands out to me. Probably my favorite game ever in the National Hockey League. We were playing the New York Rangers, and I couldn't believe that I was playing on the other side of 99, and it was a big game. I was playing for San Jose, and long story short, I went out and fought a guy named Darren Langdon, first shift, and then it didn't. We sort of fell to the ice, and I was sitting in the penalty box, and I see Gretz out there. I'm like, oh my God, I know Langer wants to go as soon as we get out of the box. So anyways, the penalty ends, and we step out at center ice, and we score off. And we had a good one. We had a good long fight. And so now I've got 2 fights under my belt. And I think the game was tied maybe 2-2 or something like that. And Tony Granato gets the puck, and, I just... I go to the net, Brantt, go to the net. So I go to the net, and he takes a shot, and I turn my body, and it deflects off my ass into the net. So anyways, I had a goal. I had 2 fights, and as I'm skating off the ice, the security guy from Madison Square Garden says, hey, Brantt, you got to stay out here. You got a star of the game. So I got second star of the game that night. And I just remember after the game, I went up to my buddy Kevin Stevens and said, hey, is there any chance that I can get Wayne's stick? And sure enough, he comes out and he gives me a signed Hespler Wayne Gretzky autograph stick. And it says, best wishes, Wayne Gretzky, NYR, 1999. And that thing was my prized possession. I still have it. I don't know if I told you about the story when I sold that sucker in my addiction, but maybe we'll chat about that next episode. But things you do. Oh yeah. What was it? What was the next part of that? So, is there a certain team or organization or group of players, ultimate players, you still keep in touch with? I would say every team sort of had their own group of players, executives, coaches, staff, that training staff that you really enjoy. I mean, the Philadelphia Flyers were an incredible team that I was on, probably the most talented team I've ever been on. We had Lindros, LeClaire, and Paul Coffey, and Ron Hextall, and Chris Gratton, and Rod Brindamore. You just go down the line. We had a crazy team. So that to me was amazing. Tampa Bay was really special because it was my first team. I was 18 years old. I got drafted by an expansion team in 92. And that experience was absolutely amazing, playing in Florida, coming from Grand Center. I'll tell you that. Wow. So there I was in Florida. And what else? San Jose was great because Daryl Sutter was there. And I love Daryl. I love the team with Ricci and Nolan and Friesen, Brian Marchment, Stefan Matteau, all these guys that that I actually, Stefan Matteau was my roommate. We had a lot of fun. But anyways, so San Jose was awesome too. I'd say those teams. When I went to Nashville, I started to go downhill quickly, and I wasn't feeling good about Brantt Myhres, and it showed. It showed on the ice. And so, anyways, pre Nashville, all those teams were great. All right, what's the other message we got here? Hey, Brantt, I've read your book and have watched some podcasts, being really personal. At what point do you think that your friends and family should throw in the towel? ? You know what? Go buy lots of towels. Go buy lots of fucking towels with this disease. Keep them washed. Keep them folded. Don't throw them out. Don't throw your towels out, man. Because if anybody was willing to throw out their towels with me in stage 1, 2, 3, 4 of the National Hockey League, I would be buried 6 feet under. I would not be alive. My addiction was out to kill me. So at what stage do you throw in the towel? Don't ever throw in the towel. Don't ever throw in the towel, with somebody that is really struggling. And you can love at a distance. You can love at a distance, right? You can support at a distance. But when there's somebody that you care about that is struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction, have lots of towels ready. Have them ready to go. And don't give up on them. Don't ever give up on them. You never know when the old bulb's going to go off. What's been the most challenging part of staying sober? What a great question. Let me think about that one. What's been the most challenging part about staying sober? Staying sober. How about that? Staying sober. Yeah. It has its moments, everyone, as you all know. You do get to a point though where you're living life on life's terms, and it doesn't seem so overwhelming about the journey of sobriety. You learn to handle situations in sobriety that after a while you don't really think about anymore. But as far as challenging, I would say hanging on before the miracle happens. That's a big one. Hanging on before the miracle happens. When things get really tough in your life and really challenging, are you going to give up? Are you going to, as that gentleman said, when do you throw in the towel? And I haven't been one to throw in that towel on myself. That's for sure. What's this one? What's been your motivation for getting sober, Brantt? I think obviously the child, Chloe, Peanut, that was a big motivation. And what else? God bless my parents, but I didn't want to end up like them. I didn't. And I did not. And I wanted a different life. And at 32, 33 years old, I was going down more of a wreckage path than they were. And I knew that if I didn't change my life around, that it was going to be a sad ending for me. It was going to be a sad ending. So I just, when you talk about motivation, there was just a lot. I felt like I was early enough to get it, and then I could swing the pendulum my way. And it just took courage and it took action and motivation. Child, financially, I was just everything in my life was just bankrupt, and I just wanted to have some peace up here. I had the tornado of alcoholism and drug addiction, those voices that were running wild, and I couldn't calm them down. No matter how many lines or how many beers I drank or how many times that I was cheering somebody, yeah, what a fucking great night we're having, eh, bud? Deep down, I was dying. Deep down, I was crying. And so my motivation was, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I just didn't. Here's another question for you. Hey, Brantt, have you noticed any unexpected benefit in staying sober? Unexpected benefit? I don't know if I really anything was unexpected because it was told to me in the meetings and from sponsors and from people that have walked this journey what to expect if you hang on and you give it a chance, right? So I don't think there was a lot of anything really unexpected. I think probably most unexpected was I didn't think it was possible for me to get real time of sobriety. I didn't think it was going to be possible to get a year or 2 or 6 months. And when I did, that was sort of unexpected. It was a different point of view living in recovery. So unexpected, maybe it was just that I was gaining time. That was unexpected because I never really had much of it, All right, what's this other question? What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out their sober journey? Nice question. I don't know. I think advice on anybody that's starting out their journey in sobriety, buy lots of Band-Aids. Buy lots of Band-Aids because you're going to scrape your knees lots. Get some tissues out. You might be crying too, and there's just going to be lots of sort of like emotional bumps and bruises along the way. And if you can have it within you to not deviate from the plan, not deviate from your plan, right, which is one day at a time, then you'll get there. The problem is it's like we tend to want instant gratification quickly. And we want to get, the stuff back. We want to get the stuff back. We want to get him back. We want to get the kids back. We want to get the job back. And this isn't instant gratification. You got to pay your fee at the toll. And just like everybody else that's, taking their coins in recovery, they paid their fee and you got to pay your fee too. And the beautiful part about that is once you pay that fee, you're on some nice smooth pavement as you're driving that car. It's not the rocky road, the back road, gravel road. It's a nice paved road that you get to travel down. So pay your fee at the toll, and you get to drive down that nice highway. And what else? Here's another question. How do you maintain balance between recovery and the rest of your life? Balance? Oh, geez. Mr. Miyagi, right? Everything's about balance. And I try to do that. I think the balance is like, it's not like too heavy on one side or too heavy on the other anymore. It feels like the weight is like, keeping it stable and right in the middle. Because again, when you're out of balance, you're creating this wreckage and this destruction of addiction behind you, or ahead of you. So when you have balance, you appreciate it, and when you're not creating the wreckage anymore, there's the weights are even. I know that. My problems today are different than what they used to be. But you still have worries. You're human, right? But yeah, as far as balance goes, I just try to be a good soul. I try to be a good soul and try to treat people nice with respect. And hopefully it gets reciprocated my way. But as far as balance and recovery, yeah, I just find that if I'm not creating the wreckage, the balance is pretty much even. Don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, guys, you ready? Bang. What do we call this? This is a big book of AA and NA. Okay, remember we chatted about Fred, our buddy Fred? Well, Fred's story speaks for itself. We hope it strikes home to thousands like him or her. He had felt only the first nip of the ringer. Most alcoholics or addicts have to be pretty badly mangled before they really commence to solve their problems. They got to be pretty badly mangled. Yes, You're right. Many doctors and psychiatrists agree with our conclusions. One of these men, staff member of a world-renowned hospital, recently made this statement to some of us. What you say about the general hopelessness of the average alcoholic or drug addict's flight is, in my opinion, correct. As two of you men whose stories I have heard, there is no doubt in my mind that you were 100% hopeless, apart from divine help. Period. Had you offered yourselves as patients at this hospital, I would have not taken you if I had been able to avoid it. People like you are too heartbreaking. Jesus. Though not a religious person, I have a profound respect for the spiritual approach in such cases as yours. For most cases, there is virtually no other solution. You guys believe in that? There's no other solution. Okay, here we go. Once more, the alcoholic or addict at certain times has no effective mental defense against the first drink or drug. Okay, you ready to read that again? Once more, the alcoholic or addict at certain times has no effective mental defense against the first drink or drug. Wow, yes. I have experienced that. Have you? Except a few rare cases, neither he or she or other human beings can provide such a defense. His defense must come from a higher power. And then guess what, guys? We're done with more about alcoholism, but they wanted us to roll into this one. Chapter 4. We agnostics. You guys want to read the first chapter? First paragraph, actually, sorry. So, chapter 4. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism and drug addiction. We hope that we have made the clear distinction between the alcoholic and addict and the non-alcoholic or non-addict. If, when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking or drugging you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably an alcoholic or an addict. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. Spiritual experience will conquer. You guys had any of those? I have. It changed my life. And the day was February 18th, 2008. And I had one. I got taken home by the police, and I got arrested. And at that point, I was having a baby being born in a week, and I was suicidal. I was trying to kill myself, I think, slowly but surely. And anyways, the cops took me home, and I passed out and pissed the bed and all that stuff, all that good stuff that you do. And I woke up. And I got on my knees, and for some reason, something was shifting that morning. And when I started to pray, I started to cry, and I was asking God this time sincerely for help. And it was a sincere prayer. And what happened was, as they just said, it was a spiritual experience. And the obsession to drink and use drugs was removed that morning. It just was. Okay, where are we? Here we go. To one who feels he or she is an atheist or agnostic, such as experience seems impossible. But to continue as he or she is means disaster, especially if he or she is alcoholic of the hopeless variety. This thing sounds serious, you guys, doesn't it? To be doomed to be an alcoholic or an addict's death, or to live on a spiritual basis, are not always easy alternatives to face. True. But it isn't so difficult. Okay, let's keep reading. About half of our original fellowship were exactly that type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were truly not alcoholics or addicts. But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life. Or else, period. They don't give you a lot of outs here, do they? They really don't. They make you fucking stare at yourself in the mirror, hey? Tear off all your clothes. Perhaps it is going to be that way with you. But cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheists or agnostics. Our experience shows us that you need not to be disconcerted. If a mere code of morals or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism or drug addiction, many of us would have recovered long ago. Thank you. Would have recovered in 1994? But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. We could not wish to be moral. We could wish to be comforted, in fact. We could use these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. I'll end with this. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Wow, they failed utterly. Okay. I mean, these are all suggestions, everyone, but they seem pretty important. And I definitely, the reason why I read this stuff is I find that it moves me. It moves my soul, and I trust the book. I trust it. I don't think it's a fraud anymore like I used to. I actually trust the book. Speaking of that, all right. How strong, here's another question I forgot to, sorry. How strong is your faith in the process? Well, how strong is my faith in the process? In order to have faith, you have to take action, right? So, and then in order to continue to take action, you need faith. It's crazy, but it's true. And are you going to have faith when your kids get taken away? Are you going to have faith when you lose your job? Are you going to have faith when you have no money in the bank? Are you going to have faith when all your friends have written you off? Are you going to have faith when you keep stumbling? Me, I stumbled hard. And I'll tell you about faith. I was two years sober at this point, and it was 2010, and I was living on a friend's couch, and I wanted to see my baby girl Chloe, and it was winter time. I'll never forget. It was cold out, it was snowing, and anyways, I was getting a little discouraged with sobriety, a little discouraged with my recovery, because I was like, "Where's mine? Where's mine? Where is my gifts of sobriety?" Because I've been waiting here. I've been waiting 2 years, and where are they? I'm living on a couch still, man. I don't have enough gas in my car to go see my baby girl. So where are my gifts? And that's when you talk about faith, right? When faith kicks in. And I text my buddy and I said, "Hey man, I got to go see my daughter Chloe. I don't have enough money for gas." I said, "Can I go to your jar there, and it's got some change in it? Can I borrow the change from your jar so I can fill up my truck with gas to go see Chloe?" And he said, "Sure, Brantt." So I counted out $60 worth of change, and I filled up my Jeep, and I went to see my daughter. And as I was driving there, it was snowing, and I had this feeling come over me saying that it's going to be okay, Brantt. It's going to be okay. You just keep doing the right thing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, okay, well, like I've only got one tank of gas left. One tank, I'm gonna keep trying to do the right thing, but it's tough. And you bet it's tough. You bet it's tough. And when times get tough, you dig in with faith. And what do you know? 2 days later, I get an email that changed my life and helped me start a business in Calgary. And that was faith. And I think that no matter what the circumstances are, you keep going, no matter what. And I was in that position. No matter what, I kept going, and I kept having faith that the next day was going to be maybe a little bit better. And hopefully you guys can do that too. So there's my little experience with having faith no matter what. Okay, everyone. Yeah, keep writing in. Like I love these questions that are coming in, and I hope that you're enjoying the podcast. I have, and again, I have people saying, man, it's starting to feel like a mini AA or NA meeting every week on Sunday. And guess what, guys? That was my goal. That was my goal, for me too, because this helps me too. So why don't we do this on the way out? Why don't we read something from page 86 of the big book? And this is for tonight. Okay. Here we go. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, or afraid? ? Do we know an apology? ? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? ? Excuse me. Were we kind and loving toward all? What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time? ? Or were we thinking of what we could do for others? Of what we could pack into the stream of life? But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. Amen to that. That's a cool reading. I like that. Page 86. Anyways, you guys, hey, hopefully I don't got to get the tooth yanked on Tuesday. I'll keep you posted, and I'll make sure that I'm back. Whether I pass out or not, who cares? It's just those phobias and fear you got to deal with, right? Remember, false evidence appearing real. So anyways, time to pick up my son from daycare, my little buddy. I love him so much. He's just added so much to my life. Talk about the gifts of sobriety. Wow, that little guy. Jeez, my daughter, Peanut. But yeah, Kaner has been so cool. And hope you guys stay cool too. Another week. And keep each other accountable. #UnHammered. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks.